Good morning, students. I heartily welcome you for online biology classes because of Ideal and Others Vidyalaya Metric Higher Secondary School. In this video, we are going to be seeing about unit number 15, nervous system. So, from ninth standard syllabus, we are already studied about various types of organ system in the animal. According to that, 11 different types of organ systems are available. The one of the system is called nervous system. One of the characteristic feature of all living organism is responding the stimuli which is created by the internal or external sources. Then stimulus refers to change in the environmental condition that are detected by receptor present in the body. That means our body, which consists of various types of sensory organ, they are detected with various types of signal. Then the relevant changes in the activities of organism to the particular stimuli are called reaction or response. If we are touch the heart plate, suddenly our hand is withdrawn. It is one type of reaction. Living organism shows the response to different kinds of stimuli like light, heat, cold, sound, smell, taste, touch, pressure, pain, or force of gravity, etc. For example, withdrawal of the hand when we touch, the hot object, or closing the eyes when flash the bright light. In this condition, the heat and light in the stimulus which the body shows the response. To provide the correct response to the stimuli, necessary that all the organs work together in the proper coordinated manner. So all the organ and the organ system, they are work in the one controlled manner. This work together of the various organ in the systematic, control and efficient way to produce a proper response to various stimuli is called coordination. That is, all type of organ, they are controlled by the nervous system, that main nervous system, that is called a central nervous system, which is controlled by all the body organ, that is called an coordination. Then in animals including human, the coordination between the various cells and organ essential for their device the activities maintain the physiological balance is called homeostasis, that is called a steady state of our body. For example, it is a summer season, we can sense with more amount of heat. So what it was done, our body is produced with large quantity of sweating. Why it was produced large quantity of sweating? It was maintain the cool surface of the skin, then by the same time it maintain our body temperature in the proper manner, because we are already known that we are a warm blooded organism. The next one, the nervous system, which consists of three different types of tissue. One is called neurons, neuroglia, and nerve fibers. So what is neuron? What is neuron? So neuron is the structural and functional unit of nervous system. We are already studied from the previous lesson the structural and functional unit of kidney, that is called nephron. The structural and functional unit of nervous system, that is called neuron. So it is a longest cell of the human body and length about 100 millimeter or 100 micrometer. Then the cells are highly specialized, detect, receive and transmit the different kinds of stimuli. So detect, that means they are finding. Receive, they are going to be receive the signal, and transmit, they are going to be react or response to the stimulus. Then second type of cell, that is called a neuroglial cell or neuroglia. So it is a supporting cell of the nerve cell. It is a non-existing and they can give the backbone of the nerve cell. The nerve fiber, it is a long slender process of neuron, is a bundle up together from the nerves. It is a like a wire like structure, long slender, it is a lengthy one and it is a very thin in nature. The next one, we are going to be seeing about the structure of neuron. The diagram we are seeing in the end of this video. So the neuron, which consists of neuron or nerve cell, which consists of three important parts. Number one is called cyton, number two is called dendrites, and number three is called axon. So cyton is also called an cell body. Cyton is also called an cell body. Then the cyton is also called an cell body, which is otherwise called an perikaryon. perikaryon. It has the central nucleus with the abundant cytoplasm is called neuroplasm. So all type of eukaryotic cell, they are consist of central nucleus. The central nucleus is surrounded with the cytoplasm. Then the cytoplasm is enclosed with the plasma membrane or cell wall. According to that, the cyton also covered with the cytoplasm. They are in the form of neuroplasm. Then the cytoplasm has the large granular body is called nesile granules. Then other cell organelles, like so all type of organism, they are consist of cell organelle. Like the cyton also consists of cell organ like mitochondria, because it is a powerhouse of the cell. Ribosome, which is done in the protein synthesis. Then lysosome is a suicide bag, and endoplasmic reticulum. Then the nerve cell do not have the ability to divide. So all the body cell, they are going to be divided. They are in the form of meiotic cell division or mitotic cell division, but the nerve cell do not have a ability to divide. The next one we are seeing about the dendrites or dendron. Dendrites or dendron. So they are available in the outermost surface of the cyton. So there are in the numerous branched cytoplasmic process that project the surface of the cell body, that is called the outside of the cyton. They are embedded on the wall. They conduct the nerve impulse towards the cyton. What they are doing, they are transmit the signal towards the cyton. The branched projection increase the surface area from the receiving the signal of the nerve cell. So the more amount of dendrites is present, that means they are receiving large quantity of signal. Then last one, the longest portion of the axon, that is called axon. The axon is a single, then elongated, slender projection. The end of the axon terminates a fine branched, which is terminate into knob-like swelling, is called synaptic knob. The axon, which is in the form of slender and long tail-like structure. End of the tail, they are consist of small swelling, that is a knob-like structure, that is called a synaptic knob or axon terminal. The plasma membrane of the axon is called axolemma. So we are studying about axon. So everything they are comes out in the form of axo. So that membrane is called axolemma. Then they are containing some kind of cytoplasm, that is called axoplasm. The axon containing a cytoplasm is called axoplasm. It carry the impulse away from the cyton. So first point, we are receiving the signal by the dendron, then which is recorded by the cyton, then which is passed on with the axon. Then the axon may be covered with a protective sheath. They are consist of two type of protective sheath. One is called an myelin sheath and second one is called a swan cell. The both are called an neurolemma. Then the myelin sheath breaks the interval like a dispension is called nodes of Raniver. So the myelin sheath, which consists of some kind of segment like structure, we are seen in the sugar cane. They are consist of various types of segment like that. The axon also consists of some kind of segment, that is called an nodes of Raniver. The region between the node is called an internode. Between the first and second node, in between these two nodes, there will be a wall or break is called an internode. The myelin sheath acts as an insulator and ensure the rapid transmission to the nerve impulse, that is called the myelin sheath, which was continuously transmitting the nerve impulse, which is received by the dendron and which is passed on with axon, and they are transmitted with that axon. Okay, I already told you that cyton, they are consist of cell organelles, so which is explained very clearly from this image. So the outermost layer, that is called an cell wall, then the blue color substance, that is called cytoplasm, then violet color substance, that is called endoplasmic reticulum. All internal organs are clearly available from this diagram. Then next one we are seeing about dendron and axon. The finger-like projection, which is marked here, that is called dendrites or dendron. It is a finger-like projection or branched in the form. They are embedded in the cytoplasm. Then the long tail-like structure, that is called axon. So the axon, which consists of various kinds of segment like structure, then which is covered with the two type of layer, that is called myelin sheath and swan cell, which is marked here. Then in between the two segment, that is called the node, that is called nodes of Raniver. The end, that is called an axon terminal. The axon terminal, which was connected with another dendron of the neuron, another dendron of the neuron. The next one, the important point of this structure of neuron, that is called synapses. It is a junction between the synaptic knob of the axon of one neuron and the dendron of the next neuron is called a synaptic junction. It is very clear and very simple. The junction between the synaptic knob of one axon and they are connected with the dendron of another neuron, that is called a synaptic junction. The information from one neuron can pass to another neuron through the junction. So the signal which is passed from one neuron to another neuron through the synaptic junction. Then they are released the chemical, thus release the chemical known as the neurotransmitter in the form of synaptic knob. The neurotransmitter, they are transmit with the chemical. By means of the chemical impulse, the signal is passed on from the entire parts of the body. So this diagram which is explained, the upper side, that is the orange color diagram, it is a one neuron. Then below this region, presence of one green color diagram, that is another neuron. So upper side, that is called a axon terminal, the lower side, that is called a dendron. So the signal which is transmitted from the axon terminal to the dendron, by means of this the signal is transmitted from one neuron to another neuron. The next one, the neurons are consist of basically three different types, which is explained from this diagram. The three different types, very simple: unipolar neuron, bipolar neuron, and multipolar neuron. Uni means single, bi means two, multi means many. Then first one, unipolar neuron, very simple. The only one nerve process arised from the cyton. So from the cyton itself, they are arised with only one nerve cell. Then they are act as a both axon and dendron. They are act as a both new axon and dendron. So the unipolar neuron, which is found only in the early embryos, not in the adult cell, which is available in the early embryos. The below the diagram, I will show you. This is a embryonic cell of the human being. It is a immature cell. Only the embryonic cell, they are consist of the unipolar neuron. Again, I will tell you, it is a very important detailed question. The unipolar neuron, they are arised from the cyton. They are act as a both axon and dendron. Presence of only one cell. Then which is available on the early embryos, not in the adult cell. Not in the adult cell. Then second one, bipolar neuron. Bi means two. Bi means two. The cyton give rise to two nerve processes. Rendu process uruvakudhu. Then one act as an axon, while the another is act as a dendron. So here there is no problem. One is act as a axon, another one is act as a dendron. Then it is found in the retina of eye and olfactory epithelium of the nasal chamber. So which is clearly exposed in this diagram. The retina of the eye, which is available in the eyeball, which was maintained the moisture content of the eye. The next one, olfactory epithelium of the nasal cavity, which was connected with the eye as well as in the throat. That is called olfactory epithelium, nasal chamber. Then last one, we are seeing about the multipolar neuron. So it's a last type of neuron. The cyton give rise to many dendrons, which is produced with numerous quantity of dendron, that is called poly. Many means poly. And axon, they are produced with axon also, which is available in the where it is available, which is available in the cerebral cortex of the brain. Cerebral cortex is available in the upper side of the skull, which is available in this region. Again, I will tell you the structure of neuron: unipolar neuron, bipolar neuron, multipolar neuron. Unipolar neuron, that means presence of one. Bipolar neuron, that is a two. Multipolar neuron, that is many. So unipolar neuron is available on the early embryos, not in the adult. And bipolar neuron is found in the which is found in the only the two region, the retina of the eye and olfactory epithelium of nasal chamber, and multipolar neuron which is located on the brain, it may be asked from the 1 mark question where it is located, brain, kidney, like that they are given the option. The right option is brain. Then the next point, so based on, we are already studied about the introduction of neuron, then the cells of neuron, structure of neuron and types of neuron. Then last one, the functions of neuron. Based on the function, the neurons are three type. One is called sensory neuron, motor neuron and associate neuron. So sensory neuron is nothing but they are going to be sense some kind of signal. Which is sensed by our sensory organ like a nose, eye, ear and skin, tongue, etc. is called an sensory neuron, which is connected with the central nervous system. The central nervous system, which consists of two type of organ, which is seen in the next class. So the brain and the spinal cord, it is a two important organ which is available in the central nervous system. The sensory organ, they can transmit the impulse in the form of chemical substance to the central nervous system. Then second one, that is called motor or effort neuron, which is carry the impulse from the central nervous system to effector organs such as the muscle fiber and or gland. That means once our body, they can sense the signal, they are transmitted into the central nervous system. For example, we are touch the hot plate, the signal, the heat which is passed on by means of neuron to brain. The brain which will give the command into the nerve fiber, suddenly our hand is, we are withdraw our hand, that is called a motor neuron. It is a motor neuron. Then last one, that is called an association neuron. They conduct the impulse between the sensory and motor neuron. The diagram which is explained, first one, that is called effector, then upper side, that is called receptor. So the skin, that is called sensory neuron, they are getting the signal to pass on with the central nervous system, that is called spinal cord or brain. Then the spinal cord, brain, they can pass on into the signal with the motor neuron to the muscle fiber. So in between these two places, the interneuron, so they are connected with both process, so that is called an interneuron. The association neuron is otherwise called an interneuron because they are act as a connecting link. The next one, the types of nerve fibers. The two types of nerve fibers are available. One is called myelinated nerve fibers and non-myelinated, which is otherwise called an covered and uncovered. The axon is covered with myelin sheath. Axon, the diagram is given. First diagram, it is a myelinated. That means the axon is covered with myelin sheath. And below the diagram, the axon is not covered with myelin sheath. It is a differentiate question, book back question. Myelinated and non-myelinated nerve fibers. Once the axon is covered with myelin sheath, that is called a myelinated nerve fibers are covered. Then the axon is not covered with the myelin sheath, that is called a non-myelinated neuron. Non-myelinated neuron or non-myelinated nerve fibers. The myelinated and non-myelinated, which is called an, so this is the diagrammatic representation of this neuron. So which is receiving the signal, so automatically the signal is passed on, the receiving the signal, that is a dark color, then it is passed on through the cyton and dendron. Then next one, so this is the structure of that axon, the entire cell. So first one, they are receiving the signal by the dendron, which is passed on with cyton, then slowly which is reach on with the axon by the end of axon terminal. The first diagram and the second diagram, which is very clearly how the signal is transmitted from one neuron to another neuron. Then it is another full view of the 3D dimension, the entry and the exit of the signal. First one, they are given the axon, dendron side they are given the entry signal, and axon side they are given in the exit signal. From the entry, the dendron, they are receiving the signal is passed on with the axon, how it was passed on by means of the dendron. They are receiving signal, then the signal is loaded with the cyton, from the cyton itself which is passed on with the axon. Then it is another one kind of example how the sensory neuron they are working. So it is a hot plate which is touched by our hand. So what it will be happen, the signal is sensed by the sensory neuron and which is passed on with our brain. So the brain which can be give the command with the motor neuron, suddenly we are withdraw our hand. It is the best example of the sensory neuron, a motor neuron and association neuron.